Hi, everybody, and welcome to Cal Conversations. I'm Beth Hadfield, the Activity Coordinator at the Center for Active Living in Plymouth. Today, we are going to discuss mental wellness, and I have a very special guest today. I would like to introduce you all to Shannon McKenna, Masters of Social Work, student clinical intern with Bridgewater State University. Welcome, Shannon.
Hello, thank you for having me.
We at the center have had the great pleasure of working with Shannon for the last few months. And I wanted to bring her on and talk about what mental wellness is and ways that we can feel better about it. So I guess, Shannon, we're going to jump right into the meat of it and ask you, what is mental wellness? How would you describe it so that the people in our community can understand what it is?
I love jumping into the meat of it. So, mental wellness is really our social, psychological, and emotional well-being. Um, it can include feeling emotionally resilient, feeling capable. It can be being aware of your own strengths and your abilities and what you're capable of and leaning into those. It can be sustaining healthy relationships, working productively, engaging with things that you love. And the thing about mental wellness that I love is that it's so broad, but also it's so specific and so personal to you. So, what mental wellness might be for me might be different than what it is for you. But what it looks like is that resilience, that being able to respond to life and all that it might bring, because we can't control life, right? And respond to that emotionally, socially, and psychologically appropriately.
And it does. Like, you and I chatted a bit prior to doing our show, and it is so many things in our life that it's even things we might not even realize. As you and I are talking and describing more things, people are going to go, oh, aha. It's definitely an aha moment when you're talking about all the different ways it comes into play.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think sometimes we make it this big, complicated, unattainable thing. And the goal of mental wellness and mental health is that it is accessible. And, I think part of the reason why I'm here at this internship and that why this exists is to make it more accessible and to help people realize it's possible. And, at any stage of life, mental wellness is important and possible.
Very true. Very true. How can people improve their mental wellness or their mental health? Is that kind of interchangeable, mental wellness, mental health?
So
We didn't
I think
discuss that, but
I think mental wellness is the goal of mental health. So I love
okay.
kind of referring to them together because I think they're really connected and they kind of feed into each other a lot. And so things that help our mental health and lead to mental wellness are, being involved, getting involved. Social engagement is really important and really helpful for us as humans. We're social creatures. And so having those social connections is important. Finding things that we enjoy to do, and doing them. So maybe it's trying new things. And, I always tell people what might have been fun and good before might not be fun and good now. And that's okay. Finding what is good and helpful for us, whether it's a new hobby or finding new music that we like or listening to our old classics that we love, whatever it is, finding ways to be grateful and seeing the positive can be really helpful to our mental wellness as well. So incorporating positivity, but also gratitude, not even in the face of some of the more negative things that are going on in life, that can be really helpful. um, Connection, talking to someone is really helpful for our mental health and mental wellness. Maybe it's talking to a friend who you is that soul connection for you that, hears you and understands you. Maybe it's making a new friend. And sometimes in this, talking to someone, getting that professional support sometimes is a really important and helpful step for people to achieve that mental wellness and find that mental wellness. And just one more thing, managing stress is a huge part of our mental wellness and our mental health. Um, Whenever possible, finding ways to healthfully cope with that. And maybe it's some of the things I already listed. We can't control life. We might not be able to eliminate stress altogether, but finding what's helpful for us to manage those stressful times can really help our mental wellness.
Awesome. All I can think of is dancing like nobody's watching. Like that's what's going through my mind right now. Like I want
Yeah.
to get up and dance.
For me, it's concerts in my car. So I love that
Oh my
too.
goodness. But
Yeah.
you know what? We're giving people ideas of what it's going to take to help them put that smile on their face and put their best foot forward.
Right, and it can be the things adding things into what we already do, like, I also love doing a good concert while I'm doing the dishes, it's a task I have to do, I don't love it, so I'm gonna make it fun and manage the annoyance of that thing, so it can be things we can just do every day in our lives.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
What would you say are barriers to mental wellness?
I think, some of the barriers, one of the biggest ones for any phase of life, but especially for those of us in the aging population, people as we grow older, is loneliness and feeling that feeling of isolation. So that can be a really significant barrier to mental health and mental wellness, which is why connection is one of the things that helps with it. Again, I mentioned stress can be a significant barrier. Um, and like we kind of already touched on, life will always be life. There will always be stressful moments. There will always be things that we're kind of adjusting to and shifting with. And the part of mental wellness that I love is really finding ways to respond to those moments and finding the things that work for us. Because as we age and throughout life, life is about transitions, life is about change. And sometimes the thing that makes us most uncomfortable is change and not feeling in control and transitioning. And, for the aging population specifically, it's a lot of transitioning from maybe having a career to retirement, from parenting to independent children, from, maybe different living situations. So much can happen at once, even loss, losing people we love. We're constantly transitioning throughout our entire lives. Um, and finding ways those are barriers to our mental health and mental wellness, and finding ways to manage and the things that help us in those moments. That's what mental wellness is.
So that brings us right into my next question. You've been with us for a few months now, and looking at the CAL's Caligram newsletter, are there programs that we offer that you feel could really help people with their mental wellness?
I do. Have loved my time here. I think this is such a place that really fosters mental wellness, which it's so important for all of us to have access to. Like I said before, mental health, mental wellness, it's so specific to the individual while being this beautiful, broad topic as well. Um, so what might help me might not help you, and vice versa. Um, so what might help me might not help you. Maybe gratitude is really, really easy and helpful for you, but it's not something that is easy and helpful for me, or journaling or things like that. So when I look at the newsletter, I guess my question for people that I encourage them to sit with is, What is helpful? What do you enjoy? What is something that makes you happy? What's something that lights you up? Maybe you already have a habit of or a hobby of knitting. Join the knitting group and make that a social connection for you as well. Maybe you really love moving your body in different ways. Join one of the exercise classes and try out a new one, see if you like it. And if you don't go a second time, trying something new can be really a fun part of mental wellness as well. Um, and maybe you need a more formal support group. There's tons of formal support groups here at the Center for Active Living, which is amazing. So maybe you are in a stage of grief of, moving through a loss of a loved one. There are grief support groups here that are extremely beneficial. Maybe you're a grandparent parenting a grandchild. That's a group that exists here. You don't have to be alone. And I think that's the key to mental wellness a lot of the time is realizing the stresses and the transitions and the, tougher parts of life. We're not the only one going through, and we don't have to go through it alone. And so finding that connection here can be a really helpful way to move through the realities of what life is for you right now.
So I guess I never realized I was always helping people when I was saying to them, when they're new to us, they want to sit and talk about all the programs that we offer. And I always tell them to really read through the newsletter and sit with the descriptions and then come try different things.
Yeah,
Because exactly how you said it, everybody um, adjusts to things differently, and everybody gets enjoyment from many different things, and you just never know. And sometimes it may not be the specific activity, but the people you meet along the way who then become your friends because your life has changed. You've moved to a new place. um you know Change in and of itself uh, causes a lot of different emotions, but it can still create positivity because through those changes, you're meeting people and growing with them along the way.
absolutely. And, sometimes maybe it's just getting here. That loneliness and isolation is one of the biggest barriers. So, bringing a book and reading in the lobby, maybe that's a great first step to someone's mental wellness journey. And that's a victory. And I think part of mental wellness too is shifting what is a victory in our minds. Getting here is a victory. Count it. That counts, and that is an incredible step towards mental wellness. There are puzzles in the lobby. Do you want to work on a puzzle? And as you grow comfortable, finding what really continues to make you feel supported and well. And that's really what the core of mental wellness is.
I agree. And I was even taking it a step further. Tuesday through Friday, we offer breakfast and lunch, and you can purchase breakfast and lunch in the Cal Cafe. And I was thinking, you know, if you can do it, if you can come in and sit down and have a meal, it's almost a guarantee someone's going to stop and say, hello, you're new, welcome. And we're so lucky to have so many great people participating here as well as working here that we actually notice the new faces, and we try to talk to them and get to know them and make them feel welcome and comfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, part of that is the staff here can help people recognize, maybe you do need that more supportive approach, that supportive help. Maybe it is connecting with, myself while I'm here, the intern, or finding other resources that might be helpful. And also knowing that you don't have to navigate that fully alone can be really helpful.
And I think that's our biggest thing, Shannon. We are here because we don't want anyone to be alone or feel alone. We have April and Lindsay who are social outreach workers, because when you move forward in your education, we'll still be sitting in this building here and connecting with people. But there are lots of people here that people in the community can connect with, even if we have to help give them some direction and find their way to finding their best mental wellness.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Shannon, I would like to thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. And if people, want to come in and chat with you, they can call the center and give their name and phone number at the desk, and you'll be able to reach back out to them, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'll be here through the end of April. So if you wanted to talk more or just connect and talk more about what mental wellness means for you or anything else, I'm here Thursdays and Fridays.
Shannon, thank you again. And thank you all for watching today. This has been another edition of Cal Conversations. Take care.